All right, so last week we started a discussion on raising children, especially teenagers in the 21st century, which requires vigilance and the willingness to pay attention to the details. Now, this morning, Taiwo Akinami is back to pick up where we left off. Now, Taiwo, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
You know, it's always great. When we started this conversation last week, it just felt like there was not enough time.
Yes.
But we're talking about busy parents, you know, who go out very early in the morning, come back late at night, and suddenly you discover that your child is 13, is now a teenager, and you know, you don't really understand how to relate with the child, and it just seems like your child is drifting off. But how do you begin or ensure that the trust that your child had for you growing up, by the time they're teenagers, that trust continues?
Yes. You see, one of the characteristics of every human being, including a child, is that the child's sense of responsibility, sense of independence grows, and self-awareness grows as the child attains age, as the child progresses in age. The child begins to feel that before, if I wanted to go to the toilet, I needed to call someone. Now I can go myself. The child felt like before, if I wanted to wear my clothes, I needed help. Now I can wear my clothes myself. That sense of self-awareness, independence, needs to be properly managed in the sense that it does not need to be suppressed. It needs to be managed, because the more I become aware of myself, the more I want to handle things for myself. And if it is not drummed in my ears and it's not made as one of the critical point of reference, that you can talk to me, you can relate with me. I've seen this life more than you have done. I've tried things. I've been there. Now, Abraham Lincoln says, how do you teach a child the way he should go? You go there first and you come back to take the child. So, and that does not happen by just calling the child. You can talk to me. You know I'm there for you. It's by relationship. And that relationship has to be deliberately built. Now, we now have to differentiate between quantity and quality. You may not have quantity of time, but if your children are your priority, you have quality of time.
So even if you had little
even
time,
if it's little time, if what you don't plan for, you don't do. Now, everything that matters to you, if you're a busy executive, you do things in the office. You have a to-do management. You have KPIs. You have all of these things to manage, and you manage them, and you are doing very well in the office. You are adjudged one of the best in your team. How come this expertise you put in the office does not reflect in the way you handle your children? It's just a simple thing. It is a matter of priority. Does it matter to you? Do you know the implication of what you are doing? And there's an example I always give. You know, CNN reported Lee Kuan Yew, the father of Singapore, died today, surrounded by his family. Nelson Mandela, the father of South Africa, died today, surrounded by his family. The same thing, Billy Graham, 2 or 3 weeks ago, died today surrounded by his family. These guys led nations. They reached out to so many people, but at their last moment in life, the most critical people that mattered to them at that time was their family. So no matter what we do, irrespective of our business today, you are first a hero of your family. If your family does not see you as a hero, then, and the outsiders see you as a hero, that is deceptive. Because the people closer to you should experience your best. You know, because if I'm your friend, we are very close, I cannot come to you to pick up things from you, and it is those who are outside, who don't sow into your life, who don't contribute to your life, who don't have a stake in your life, that gets your best. Then there's something wrong. Then you are telling me getting close to you, sacrificing in your life, relating with you is a waste of time. That is how children feel. If you say, I'm important, I'm critical, I'm your son, I didn't write application to come to this world, I'm your daughter, you deliberately, went out to look for me, because pregnancy does not jump on anybody. People deliberately look for and forget about what we call accidental because that accidental requires some action.
Yes.
It's just that maybe there's a miscalculation here and there, but if you don't engage in that action in the first instance, so you won't be at that level. So for me, parents need to understand. I understand the state of the nation. I understand school fees issues. I understand rent issues. I understand, what people are going through. But the fundamental thing now is that the children are now here. They are here. Now that they are here, what do? Do we throw our hands in the air and say, well, because of the state of the nation? Because at the end of the day, there's a pathetic story of a commissioner. in Imo State. I think it was Imo or Anambra State, under Governor Ngige. You know, his son was very recalcitrant, very not cooperating with them. So what did they do? What many Nigerian parents do when they are abroad, they send the child home, they put him in a boarding school. When they are in Nigeria, they send the boy abroad because they want to, they want to have a breathing space. So now this child was sent abroad, was sent to the US or UK. Now this child found his way home, went to the office, went to the government house and shot the mother to death. And he was escaping, he was arrested on his way to Benin because he was trying to run away. Now, this was a problem the day the child needed attention. The child said, Mommy, I want to talk to you. I have a political meeting. Mommy, there's something we need to discuss. I'm busy. There's something we need to discuss. Please, go and talk to your brother or talk to someone else. Now, you didn't know that the mom at that point was no more a mother, it was an undertaker, preparing our own, preparing for our own death, which was going to occur through our own son. Now, in our widest imagination, someone thinks about that. Today, children are lonely. Today, children is not an interesting time to be growing up. I tell you, the distractions are enormous. They are almost incalculable. How do you use that word? They cannot be counted.
Yeah.
They are numerous. They are immeasurable. Yeah. So a young person is dealing with drugs, is dealing with sex, is dealing with peer
pressure,
so many things, a whole lot of things. Then the media, the social media or the new media does not make the matter easy, because information now is at your fingertips, just a button away. When I was growing up, because of my childhood, I lost my virginity at the age of 6. That's the year I started primary school, because my mother came in with this woman who was a neighbor, and this woman would strip me naked, do with a 6-year-old boy what a woman should do with a man. And so I've lost my virginity, my sexuality. I've been awoken as a teenager. I started having anal sex. In today's panel, you call it homosexuality. As a teenager, I've taken my father's neighbor's daughter into my father's bedroom, I've molested her sexually, and I wanted not to tell anybody. So my life was in a big mess. And by the time I attained adulthood, I was dealing with serious issues. But one of the point I want to make is this. I was also hooked on pornography. I was hooked on masturbation. But for me to watch pornography in those days, it was work. We needed to look for the VHS. We needed to look for the player. When we're watching, we needed to watch with a screwdriver, because if they took, and we needed to watch in the night when everybody has gone to bed or when our parents have gone to work. We needed screwdriver. In case they took light, there was no generator, we needed to unscrew it and remove it. But now, the stress of watching pornography then was even a discouragement in itself. But today the story is different. Pornography is everywhere, just a button. Children have created their own media. You ban music from radio, you ban it from TV, you can't ban it from cable, you can't ban it from YouTube. Children have unfettered access to all of these things. And when you talk about pornography, there's hardcore pornography, there's softcore pornography. Hardcore pornography is the real thing, the real McCoy, when you see the display. Softcore is subtle. It's people showing their body in a music video that children now see. And the unfortunate thing again is that we now take all of this, we bring it to the doorsteps of our children. So when we do children party, we play for them adult content. When we're in schools, you play for children. What are you saying? You are making now. So the boys are seeing themselves as people that the girls are seeing, the boys are seeing the girls as sex objects. The girls are seeing themselves as sex objects. So they are ready to make themselves available. These days, when I'm called to speak to young people about how to prevent sexual abuse, what do you need to do? Somebody will not abuse you. I find myself talking more about how not to be sexually active, because today, whether you like it or not, whether we accept it or not, our young people are very sexually active because they are living in an over-sexualized world. Even if your daughter is a virgin, in some cases, it's a technical virgin. Everything has been touched. The only thing is that she has not had the confidence to have sexual intercourse, and she's waiting for the next Valentine, because the more these things happen, the more she gains confidence and the peer pressure. You see, I saw a movie last week where a girl was a virgin, and what was she doing? She called called a guy into the room and they were making noise as if they were having sex. She wanted to convince her peers that she's no more a virgin. I've had sex. Meanwhile, she never did it. Now, those are the things we are dealing with. So what is the way forward in this kind of environment? I think we need to begin to inculcate the right value system in our children. I say there are no old people, there are no bad people, there are no good people. What do you have? You have old people, W-H-O-L-E, and you have broken people. We act from our brokenness or we act from our owners. So the question is, you can't give what you do not have, and you cannot reap where you have not sown. What are we sowing in our children? Because power does not shift except for superior power. When I don't have too much respect for peer pressure, because what do you mean? When power meets power, the superior power bows to the other power. When somebody enters this studio and says, "My friend, lie down," if you don't see a gun, you tell him, "My friend, will you get out of this place?" But one with God is a majority. Also, one with gun is a majority. So if the guy enters this place and shows us gun, this program is going to right now. It's going to end because there's a superior power. There are some people in the control room. They have superior power. They say, "End now, end this program." Then you have to end because we still want to remain in the program. Yeah. So all of this together means that when our children face what we call peer pressure, do they have enough inner capacity, inner stamina, value system to resist? Look at our discussion before we came on studio, when we came on air, your own childhood, the kind of things that was perennial around you, and how you were able to stand because of your own value system. That is the point. Our children cannot be abandoned. We cannot leave them on their own. When you ground a child today, you ground him, give him a phone. You've not grounded the child. You open it up to the world. If you want to be grounded, put him in the room, say you are grounded. He wants to be grounded that way.
Wow. Thank you so much, Taiwo Akinlami, for some of the things. I didn't even interrupt you at any point because we had discussed this before, and you were taking the points one after the other, and I'm sure that we're learning a lot. Now, this conversation is not over because one of the things that we talked about was the value systems, which we haven't touched on deeply enough. So maybe hopefully next week or the week after we can come back and talk about this. Wow. Amazing conversation.